The moment that I started to actually feel like I was running a business is the moment when everything started to change. Hey everyone, my name is Rebecca and I'm a flow-focused designer on a mission to connect brands back to the thread of creativity that opens limitless possibilities for growth. Limitless. Okay, so welcome to this video. This is gonna be a bit of a more personal one. I wanna tell my story as proof as to a realization that I've come to, and I'm very excited to share because it changed my whole life, like how much money I started to make, but also like work-life balance in a way too. So it's super rich, this subject, so let's just dive in. So I'm making this video because I do wish someone had told me this earlier that I'm telling you guys. Not just how to price your work, but actually how to think, how to shift your mind from like, I need to survive to I'm truly building something that aligns with my purpose and that's gonna last and it's gonna help me be successful. Quick intro, if you're new to this channel, welcome. By the way, I'm super happy to have you here. I talk about creativity, I showcase some client case studies, vlogs, creative processes, take on creative challenges, everything to do with creativity and the way that I like to live. And I also showcase tips on how you can find your own balance in doing that. No matter if you're a designer, if you are a brand owner, business owner, or just someone interested in lifestyle, I'm Rebecca. I'm a brand designer and strategist, and over the last years, I went from being like a completely overwhelmed freelancer to actually owning my own creative business and having a small team. And I want to say this, even if you don't plan on having a team, it doesn't matter. Thinking like a business owner is going to set you up for success, even if you are like a one-person business. If you're into this kind of thing, feel free to subscribe. It does help motivate me, but also help me keep on posting content. And yeah, just love to interact with you guys, but no pressure there. If you ever found yourself overworking, taking every job that you could, or applying for random jobs just to get money, or just taking on projects that don't align with you, it doesn't align with your style, it's just a client looking for like a creative work to get done, and you're taking literally everything that you can just to find enough money to live. Well, I've been there too, and I want to tell you, the moment that I stopped thinking like a freelancer and started to think like an actual business owner, that's the moment when I got off the vicious cycle of taking on everything that I could and just trying to get myself out there. And let me be clear, that step is important in your career to get as much work as you can so you can build the skills and you can build relationships at the start. But after a while, you already have the skills to provide a work of value to people, so you get stuck in that pattern because you haven't changed your mindset to actually be able to grow and not have to do that anymore. So it's kind of like a mindset shift. It's not just that, because your actions are going to align with your mindset as well. So I don't want to make it seem like it's super simple. It's simple, but it might require some changes on your end. So how my mindset changed, it wasn't like a productivity hack, it wasn't a 6-figure month video, business advice or anything like that, or like a Notion template that got me here. It was just me getting really overwhelmed after 2 years of saying yes to everything, not having any weekends. I live in a cool like Brazilian island, super beautiful nature spots all around me. I did do my sports, as you see here. I like to do water sports and other kinds of sports, and I did do those because they are a priority for me, but I basically had no social life. I was saying no to weekends, friends, self-care, strategy, and honestly, my own worth. Yeah. Now on to the tips, finally. Let me paint you this picture first. A few years ago, I was taking on everything, cheap projects, taking on rush projects, Didn't even know the cost that I had in doing a project. I didn't know how much my time should cost, the softwares that I use, my living cost. I wasn't charging for a strategy. How could I charge for a strategy if I was barely charging for my own time? I had no me time because I actually didn't know how much that should cost as well. Definitely didn't have a financial plan. Didn't know how to track revenue, expenses, basically, or even time, as I mentioned before. Didn't know how to take international payments, how to provide a smooth payment experience for my clients. I didn't know how actually to onboard my clients, provide an overall smooth experience. I know being my one-person business, that kind of stuff is hard, but you can definitely have some systems in place that simplify everything for you. And I didn't have that. I didn't even have the notion that was possible or that there should be a concern. So many things, guys. I didn't invest in my own brand, even though I did brands for clients. I didn't invest in my own branding. Shame. And also now I can actually expand my services to where I can do more and I can add more value. So there's also that. But essentially, I was doing all things wrong. I didn't think beyond making good work because that was the extent of what I wanted to do. And then I hit a wall because I was getting overwhelmed, truly. And the shift, now let's go to the shift. It didn't happen by I just woke up one day and I realized I had a change. No, it wasn't like that. I just asked for help because that is something that is hard for me to ask for help, and that's what I did. I asked for help for the first time. I'm not warm anymore. I asked for help and it all started with that. Like I asked my friend if he could help me out with something, and then he solved it very easily. And then I hired him part-time to help me out with more things, and everything started to blow up. My mindset changed because I realized I could have people help me. It wasn't gonna destroy my work. So it sounds stupid, right? But that got me thinking more about business, and I started to study business a little more. And then I finally got, and that's my first point that I wanna make, I got strategic, okay? Sorry, I need to stretch a little bit. I got strategic, so I redesigned. I actually made some business plans of how much I wanted to make, how much I should make to have profit and also like to cover for costs. Then I redesigned all my services based on that, but also not just that. I based on my whole experiences working for companies, like in jobs, different types of roles like brand designer, visual designer, art director, and different roles that I had in the past. And also like the freelancer projects, and I started to map out like what are the different needs for branding based on different audiences and the budget that they have. So I created different services to cover for different branding needs. Clear offers, clear value, clear pricing. And then it was set in my head like this is how much this should cost for now. And it's gonna cost more as I grow, but this is fair enough for now. And that's the minimum it should cost, you know? So no more guessing. I finally understood that my time had a cost, and so does not having any boundaries. Not having any boundaries with clients, not having any boundaries with yourself. So you need to have clear contract. Everything needs to be cleared and in place before the project starts, agreed upon. But not just that, having boundaries in life is really important. The second thing is I built a real financial plan, and with that, I don't mean to scare you if you don't like finances. I also don't like finances, but you can start simple. Just simplify things. Don't do like those really complicated like Google Sheets. You don't have to do that. I did some things related to that, not gonna lie, but starting simple definitely helped. I read a couple of books on how I could organize the company money. It was basic, but like knowing how much I needed to earn monthly allowed me to not fear pricing my services because I needed to make that amount of money. Hiring help. It was out of necessity first, but it changed my whole perspective on how I could add value to my clients, and it just expanded everything. And I added value to people that I hired because now they like the work that I do because they were also at a bad place before. And I was bringing them cool clients and I was bringing my own values and how I like to collaborate and how I respect people's time and I don't want them to get overwhelmed too. And then I started to add more and more value to other people. Collaboration opened everything up for me. Building something with people is far more powerful than building something on your own. Never forget that. I think I was even being a little selfish, you know. It's also way more fun. We have happy hours meetings every Friday where we just work together and talk random things. I think I was also feeling very lonely because I was trying to handle so many different things on my own. There was that too. I learned just enough about marketing, operations, and sales. So I don't want to scare you either with this because this is scary for me. I'm not like a marketing or salesperson at all, but I learned the basics. There's so much power in starting with the basics, and you can adapt to your own reality and to your personality because you might be the different types of salesmen. But if you know what you're doing, how to sell your service in a way that feels sustainable to you, if you're conscious about it, if you start to track results about it, it's already miles from where you were before, probably. I'm not an ABA, I just started small, built habits and grew them over time. Like you're layering habits on top of each other so you can become better and better every day. That's the idea, right, of a business. And if you are a business, So the key is that consistency beats complexity. Number 5 is I stopped isolating. I had no idea how self-centered I was being, so protective of my own work. No one could get close to it. Gatekeeping my process. Can you imagine me doing that? I share everything online now. When I opened up and I started to ask for help, I started to connect with other creatives. It all changed for me when I started to connect with other creatives. That brings me to the results. Within just a few months, I closed my first over 10K project. One of the new services that I had redesigned based on real clients' needs. I was able to offer way more. I'm getting now recurring and returning customers. I'm providing also monthly services. That provides me more stability now, so it does really help. I expanded my services, basically. Expanded my team way beyond what I thought was possible, but I like to have a small team. It's just how I like to roll. And finally, I stopped just doing branding that looked nice, but actually started to solve my clients' problems. It does still look nice, by the way. Not gonna lie. The actual work that lit up my clients' eyes is what I do now. I help them way more now, and it's all because of the fact that I started to actually think like a business owner. I swear. Not just freelancer for hiring as I used to be. So if you're stuck in where I used to be, that freelancer route, thinking that you have to grind and wondering if there is another way to live, let me tell you, there is. It starts with thinking differently. It's not overnight, it's not perfect, it's intentional first. Small changes, new habits every day, growing your own business mindset. But at the end, it's so worth it because you can involve other people in what you do. And it doesn't have to be a team, it can be the relationship you have with your clients. You can develop a lot of good relationships with other creatives as well. And stop isolating, So that was all that I had to say. I promise I talked so much today. If you thought this content was valuable, feel free to comment on here. It would mean a lot for me to know that. Share with other creatives that you think this is going to be helpful for them. Oh, subscribe to the channel if you want. No pressure there, as I mentioned before. And well, I'll catch you next time, okay? And seriously, don't work this weekend, okay? Promise me that. So, catch you guys on the next ride. Bye! And let me finish my wine because I've been talking so much, I haven't been sipping enough my wine.